Welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Welcome back to our Cabral House Calls. First house call of the weekend, Saturday, if you're tuning in on the same day. Excited, as always, to be able to open up the big Ask Cabral-based document that my team puts together for me each and every week. You know, just to let you know, I really do read the vast majority of every comment, every tagged post on Instagram. I read many of the comments inside of the cabralsupportgroup.com, which is our free Facebook group. I try to tune in as much as I can to IHP Level 1, IHP Level 2, and IHP Mastery. I see your text messages from our community-based text. So again, like, I'm always keeping up with our community. There's no doubt about it, but there's thousands and thousands of comments and texts, and some I'm bound not to see. But I can assure you this, that if you have a question for me, I will answer it on this weekend house call. So the house calls are typically 6 weeks behind, and that's simply because we get so many questions, of course. We can't answer them all in a weekend. But we answer a dozen questions each and every weekend, 6 on Saturday, 6 on Sunday. And I've been doing it now for 5 years. So many questions, thousands upon thousands have been answered. Always happy to do it. And the truth is that I always want to make sure that I'm in touch with our community and that you know that I have your best interests at heart and in mind. And that's why I want to make sure that we're always getting to your questions, all right? So without further ado, hopefully you've been a long-time listener. If you're a new listener, well, welcome to our Cabral Concept podcast. It's great to have you. On the weekends, I do answer questions that come in. The only questions that get answered on this weekend podcast are from stephencabral.com/ask Cabral. That's it. That's where these questions come from. We don't gather them from social media. We don't gather them from Facebook groups, from Instagram comments. So if you're really looking for me to answer your comments, I'm happy to do it right here. Just 2 asks. The first is that you go to stephencabral.com/podcast and you type in your question. Or your keywords to the question. So for example, let's say you have a question on mold toxicity, or you have one on candida, or you have one on psoriasis, or you have one on celery juice, or you have one on proteolytic enzymes. Just type in any of those words inside the search box, and you'll most likely find, now that we've done almost 2,000 podcasts, that I've already answered the question. And that will save you 6 weeks from me repeating the same answer, because I'm not going to give a different answer. I really haven't. Like, my views on natural health and all these things, that they're not changing. They're growing, but they're not changing. So I just want you to know that there's very few things. Now, I couldn't tell you that. I would not have told you that before 2011. Okay. But I can tell you that we do tweak protocols. We do tweak formulas with sometimes a little bit more ingredients, and always trying to do more for you. But my answers are not going to change a lot. So I know, like, a lot of people, they like to test me, they like to test the team, and that's okay. You know, it's all good. But you're going to get your answer a whole lot faster if you just search that box. And so that's for you. I'll still answer it. I'm happy to answer it for the most part. If it's been answered like a half dozen times, then I am going to refer you for sure. And that's it. So I guess that's the first ask. The second is that if I do answer your question, I would love for you just to leave a review on iTunes or your favorite podcast player for the Cabral Concept. And the reason I say that is that I just love to be able to promote this show to more and more people. It's a big mission and goal of mine. It's what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. So whenever you're super passionate about something, you want more and more people to basically be able to find it. And that's that. All right. So that's that. Let's dive right into the show. I'm going to open up my document right here instead of using my iPad today, which does not have enough power to make it through the show. We are going to get right into the official Pages document. I am a Mac only kind of a guy. No PCs here. For ease of use, iPhone, iPad, MacBook, and we're good to go. Keep things simple. Okay. So first question is from Ashley. Ashley's writing in, "Hi, Dr. Cabral. I'm writing on behalf of my sister-in-law. During almost the entire duration of her pregnancy with my nephew, she experienced extreme hyperemesis gravidarum. It was so severe that she had a midline IV of a specific drug because she couldn't keep down water. Vitamin B6 was eventually suggested to her, and that helped more than anything else. She wants another child, but her experience with that pregnancy was so terrible that she understandably does not want to risk going through it again. My question is, what might be the underlying causes that can be dealt with? To give her confidence, her doctor basically said she's allergic to pregnancy hormones, but our hope is you might have some better insight for us. Thank you so much in advance. I wrote into you 2 years ago about my fibroadenomas, and shortly thereafter, I ran the Big 5 labs. My mind was blown by how your answer to my question on the Cabral House Calls lined up completely with my lab results. It's clear that you have invaluable knowledge, and I can't express how grateful I am to you for sharing with me and so many others. My whole family has decided to run the Big 5 labs, and I can hardly wait to see the healing that it brings. Thank you." Well, that means a lot to me. It really does. I always am about to get choked up, and then I kind of like bring it together for a second. And the reason I say that is that I never get to hear about how people do after I give these answers. And I can only hope that people are doing well with the information that, of course, this is just a small tidbit that I'm giving you, but hopefully it leads you in the right direction. So that's great. And the reason why, I'm able to, and I'm going to put this in air quotes, predict a lot of these things is only because of experience. That's all. And so that's what I tell people. And I tell a lot of our integrative health practitioners, you just have to get started. Work with friends and family, work with coworkers, expand out, work with more people. And the truth is that I've overseen 250,000 client appointments. And so I've just seen a lot. And that allows me to hopefully be able to share some type of insight into what many of us are dealing with. But of course, actually, your sister-in-law is dealing with a form of morning sickness, of nausea, that's quite extreme, where you're not able to hold anything down. So it's very dangerous for the mom. It's dangerous, of course, for the baby as well, especially when there's intra-abdominal pressure from all the vomiting as well. So here's the thing. A doctor telling her that she's allergic to pregnancy hormones is a bit strange. That's not anything from a scientific perspective, that's for sure. Many of the hormones you're producing during pregnancy are the same ones that you do produce when you're not pregnant, just in varying degrees. They're not the only ones, but yes. And so what I would say is this. A lot of times it is because there's an imbalance between progesterone and an imbalance between estrogen. Those hormones are surging, they're fluctuating. Sometimes there's not enough progesterone during that first trimester, and there can be nausea as well. However, one of the reasons why that B6 might be helpful and magnesium, if she's not using magnesium, is because the body needs a little bit more of a calming neurotransmitter as well in serotonin. And B6 has been known to be helpful for everything from thyroid to many different types of hormones, but also neurotransmitters such as serotonin. I'm not recommending that she use 5-HTP while pregnant or serotonin or at least SSRIs, but that B6 or a B complex in general could be very helpful. Now, there's a lot more that she can do. I'm assuming that she herself has never run the Big 5, so she could do that. She could work on her imbalances. She could also begin to use the daily foundational protocol level 2. Inside of that, she's going to get her omegas. She's going to get a full activated B complex. And in addition to that, she might even add some additional magnesium as well. So although I can't give you exactly what to do, just like you, Ashley, she'll be able to find her answers by running the Big 5 labs and by adding in at least replenishing her nutrients, which she should be doing with that daily foundation protocol level 2 or level 3. Thanks, Ashley. And Raquel is up next. Hi, Dr. Cabral. I had my thyroid levels tested, and it showed that it's underactive. After supplementing naturally, no synthetic hormone, for over 9 months, many of my symptoms improved except this intense muscle weakness. For instance, although I exercise often, when I do long holds during yoga, my legs shake so much that I can no longer breathe properly unless I stop. What could help with this? I also feel it when I stretch after a long run or during bodyweight exercises. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to take a little sip of my tea here. Today, it's hawthorn and hibiscus tea by Traditional Medicinals. Nice little brand. Good tasting tea as well, that's for sure. So the answer to your question is that this most likely has nothing to do with your thyroid. So that's good. So you basically, I don't want to use the word cure because we're not allowed to use that, but you basically rebalance your body. And now you no longer have thyroid issues, which is fantastic. That's what we teach inside of the Thyroid Health Results Accelerator as well. That's at stevencabral.com/courses. And of course, the lab is very, very helpful for that. Now you can choose to do the accelerator with or without the lab. For you though, that this could be a low blood sugar based issue. You might be it could be more of a Vata-based body type or Vata-Pitta. You might burn up a lot of your glucose during that run. And whenever you're in a hold-based position, an isometric-based position, you're moving a little bit more towards most likely that anaerobic-based threshold. You're certainly building up a little bit more, maybe not just calcium, but at least lactic acid inside of those muscles. So that's possible. For sure, that's possible. I would certainly be working on your breathing techniques so you're not holding your breath. But a good way to do this is to say, hey, after my run or whenever the shaking takes place, let me take my glucose after the class or after that run. And you can just use, again, a $20 glucometer. I've got many linked up at stevencabral.com/podcast. And of course, if you go to stevencabral.com/resources, you'll see all my resources right there. So take your glucose reading. And the last thing I would say is, I don't know if blood pressure is going to affect you to the same degree. It would be interesting. It could. It'd be interesting. So I would, again, you can go to stevencabral.com/resources and check out the blood pressure monitor that I have there as well. It's just for home use. They're not expensive and they really last you forever. So you could also check your blood pressure as well. Those are just my first two go-to. It could be more than that. It could be electrolytes. It could be sodium to magnesium imbalance. It could be a calcium to magnesium balance. And the best thing to do there is to run that starter kit, or at least the minerals and metals test, to look at your electrolytes. All right, Corey is up next. I'm currently seeing a functional medicine doctor for candida and leaky gut. She wants me to stay away from all gluten right now. I've been staying away from gluten for 6+ months now with the occasional cheat. What are your thoughts on this? I've heard if you take something out of your diet, your body is more sensitive to it when you add it back in. Oh, Corey, this is interesting. A couple things. So one is your leaky gut and candida should already be fixed within 6 months. So if you follow our CBO protocol, which again, no ego, hands down, it's the best in the world. There is not a better protocol in the world for digestive-based issues than the CBO protocol. And I say that again without ego. It's because we refined it over 7 years or close now 10 years. And it's been in its form now for many years. There's just nothing better. And that's because we run labs before and after. We know it works. So that resolves things in about 12 weeks. Then you use the CBO finisher for the intestinal permeability. That's 12 weeks, but that one's super easy. And so you should be good. So there's no reason unless you're celiac, there's no reason that most people who have a healthy digestive system, even if they're sensitive to gluten, can't have it once a week. For most people, that's my thought on that. I'm sensitive to gluten, that's for sure. I had gluten sensitivity tests done way back in the day, and mine were off the chart. I don't like to eat a lot of gluten. I love gluten, don't get me wrong. I love bread, I love pasta, I love wheat in all forms, I like cookies, I like all those things, but they don't like me if I start to eat them multiple days in a row. So 1 day a week, I don't seem to have any issues. Most people don't, but you could certainly run that IgG food sensitivity test again. In terms of being more sensitive when you add it back in, not so much. That's true with alcohol for the enzymes to be able to break something down, but we're not talking about enzymes. We're talking about the immune system. And so that's not true. Your body actually becomes desensitized to a food oftentimes, not always, when you remove it for 6 or 12 weeks or 6 months, again, depending on severity. All right. So again, I recommend running the food sensitivity test through Equa.life. Daryl's up next. Good day, Dr. Cabral. You regularly recommend 7 to 9 servings of fruit on your show. I was wondering if fruits that aren't native or relatively known in North America are included in this. In the Caribbean, we have things like June plums and Malay apples, Padu, cashews, custard apples, Balata. I don't know if I'm pronouncing these correctly. They sound fantastic. And then Daryl says, would they also have similar nutritional profile and antioxidant qualities, or should we too seek out importing blueberries and other fruits that aren't necessarily native to us? Keep up the great work. Daryl, this is a great question. So what I would say is always eat local, organic, whenever possible. There are certain fruit that I think are fantastic if you can get. So you didn't mention any berries on there. And berries really are, if you had to just group a type of fruit that are the best of the best, it's going to be berries. There's no doubt about it. They're lowest glycemic. They have the most skin and antioxidants and flavonoids to them. Hopefully you checked out last week's show on the power of flavonoids and the 6 different types. So I don't think you have to go out of your way with the importing. I do know that even in the Caribbean, if you go to a grocery food store, you're certainly going to see wild blueberries because I've been down there and I know that there's berries down there. So, but you might do 1 cup a day. And then the rest, you're local. And again, you might only do another cup of fruit or so. So I've had custard apples before. I had those in Hawaii. Let's see if I've had June plums I've had before. I don't know about the Malay apples. But I think all of these can be great. And a lot of native fruits are actually much better for you than the hybridized ones we have here in North America. So remember, the thicker the skin, typically the more antioxidants. So Daryl, what I would say is don't go out of your way, but I do believe most humans would benefit from 1 cup of berries per day, whether it be blueberries, cherries, blackberries, raspberries. I think they're all fantastic. You could do a mixed organic berry if you'd like. And then again, I always just say, whole food fruit is always best, no doubt about it. But it's always great to have that daily fruit and vegetable blend as well. And that powder is 22 different organic fruits and vegetables. And that you can get over at equi.life as well, equi.life. It's part of the daily foundation protocol that I use every day. And of course, tens of thousands of other people around the world. All right, Kate's up next. Hey, Dr. Cabral, hoping you can help me out. I have been WFPB for the last 9 months. I've lost over 50 pounds, and I'm now in my healthy weight range. I eat to full satiety, but still am 25%. I think it's satiety. I apologize for my mispronunciation there. It means satiated or full. But I'm 25% body fat and would like to decrease that percentage a few more points. I have felt extremely well until very recently. I lost my period and believe I'm suffering from other symptoms of hypothalamic amenorrhea, such as feeling cold, fatigue, sleep disturbances, frequent urination, etc. I'm confused on how this can be happening when I'm eating 2,500 plus calories every day, only working out lightly 2 to 3 times a week, and still I'm a higher body fat than most traditional hypothalamic amenorrhea sufferers. Please help me out. I want to know what to do next. I'm stumped. All right, Kate, happy to help you with this because I've helped many other women with the same issue. So for anybody who doesn't know what WFPB is, it stands for Whole Food Plant-Based. Okay, so what can happen is, and this is very, very common, the first 4 months, 6 months, you're doing great, but when some women and some men, not all. Again, I'm not saying that. I work and I help with many people that are vegan. I work with celebrity vegans. I work with many vegans out there, and I was vegan myself multiple times for at least 6 months. So I get it. I know. I understand. It's more of a catabolic-based diet. Just understand that it's not as anabolic as having some meat or fish or eggs or dairy or whatever you like in your diet. Now, I'm not saying you ever need to eat that, but there's 2 things that could be possible. One is you're on a higher fat, low carb diet. That would do it. Or you're on a lower protein diet where you're not getting in, let's say, somewhere around half your body weight in grams of protein per day, or you're not getting at least what's called 0.8 grams per kilogram of body weight, which if we do the math, let's say, Kate, that you're 150 pounds, you'd need somewhere around 60 grams of 60 grams of protein per day, 20 at breakfast, 20 at lunch, 20 at dinner would do it. A lot of people following whole food plant-based have gotten mixed up with the myth that there's enough protein in vegetables for you to really thrive on, and that's not the truth. Although there is protein in vegetables, I did a podcast on this. You would need to eat, around 2 dozen cups of like broccoli to get. It's not going to happen. So that's that. The other thing is that most likely it's your thyroid and potentially cortisol-based levels. And I would lean more towards thyroid as well as estrogen dominance. But again, I don't like to guess, which is why we test. So the easiest thing you could do is just go to equi.life, EQUI.LIFE, and I would purchase and run the stress hormones, mood, and metabolism test. It will tell you exactly what's going on. The only thing better than that lab would be to actually run the Big 5, which would include that lab plus 4 additional labs to tell you about your vitamin levels, your mineral levels to see if you're actually getting adequate nutrients from your diet, which again, most people are not. And that would be the best of the best. All right, Kate? So we can figure this out. This is something we see every day in our practice. Like, not some days, we see it every day. And of course, we'd be happy to help with you on that as well. All right, great questions today. That's already my time for today. I know I only got 5 in. I try to get 6, but I don't want to rush any of my answers. And so hopefully that was helpful. And again, always let me know how you did. All right, take care, everyone. I'll be back tomorrow. Today was episode 1842, and tomorrow will be episode 1843. Take care. I'll talk with you then. Thank you so much for just tuning into the show. And before you go, I want to make sure that if you have not previously checked out our online practice at equi.life, I can't recommend it enough this week. And here's why. Right now at EquiLife, we are giving away our immunity bundle completely free on all orders over $199. Let me share with you why this is such a big deal. This is the exact protocol we are recommending and have been recommending before all the other protocols had come out way back in March. So basically a year ago. This is the vitamin C, the balanced zinc, and the vitamin D that most people need, if not everyone, in order to keep their immune system firing on all cylinders. This is the protocol that, if you use nothing else, has been clinically proven to boost the immune system. This means in conjunction with, let's say you're using daily foundational protocol level 1, level 2, level 3, using all your other great products, you cannot forget about boosting your vitamin C, your zinc with that little bit of copper, B6, and vitamin C in there in order to boost immunity and boost absorption, plus that vitamin D, which is typically dosed at 35 IUs per pound of body weight. If you don't know exactly what that is, it's just about 4,000 to 5,000 IUs per day for most adults. And honestly, this whole protocol is as simple as using 1 scoop of the vitamin C alkalizing vitamin C powder, 1 capsule of balanced zinc with dinner, and 4 drops of the vitamin D liquid at any time you want during the day. We typically just put it in our breakfast smoothie or something like that. So again, super easy to use. And why is it such a big deal? Well, now more than ever, we need to boost our immune systems, but also this is a $99, I believe it's a $99 bundle that typically people are using on a daily basis, or about $3 a day. Not a huge investment into our overall health and how much that means for us. But we're giving that away, that $99 bundle away, completely free on all orders over $199 right now. So if you're already using the immunity bundle, pick one up, give it to a parent, give it to a sibling, give it to a coworker, whoever might need it. And we are doing this, again, you know that if we give away a bundle at $99, it's not about the money. It's really not. It's about trying to get these protocols to as many people as possible. That's what it's all about. At times like this, it's really about sharing our mission of hope and healing and try to get through this together as much as we can. So if my team gave me the go-ahead in order to be able to give away a huge discount like this, then we're going to take advantage of it. So please, while supplies last, take advantage of this. It is a free immunity bundle on all purchases over $199 while supplies last. We have about 500 of these. And you can just go to equi.life. That's equi.life for all the details. Take care, everyone.